Once again, this evening's program is being brought to you by the Woodside Arts and Culture Committee, a group of like-minded community members here who try to provide on a monthly basis some interesting program for you to enjoy. And this evening, we have a wonderful group of writers that will be expressing themselves through the words that they have created and chosen to put on the page for you this evening. This group is called the Wordside Group, and Rick will be introducing the individuals. So when it comes to words, Rudyard Kipling said it very eloquently, unlike myself, right then, when he said that words are mankind's greatest drug, because without them, we wouldn't be able to communicate. So without further ado, here's Rick, who will be introducing the rest of the performers. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
Welcome, everybody. Oh, what a great fall evening, huh? The weather's perfect. We're here. We're going to enjoy some few words. I'm one of the founders of Wordside, along with Christel Choi. We're going on 7 years. You all are welcome to come join us Fridays at the library. Wordside members explore all forms of written expression, which includes novels, short stories, poetry, script writing, music, art, and much more. The group encourages exploration, inspiration, and collaboration in the world of storytelling, and all within a safe environment, where aspiring authors come together to share critique and improve their work. Through readings and constructive feedback, we strive to help our members enhance their writing skills and develop their unique voices. Together, we embark on a journey pushing the boundaries of imagination and pushing each other to new heights. Come celebrate the beauty of individual expression while fostering a sense of unity and camaraderie among our writers. And now I'd like to introduce Christel Choi.
I'd like to introduce our group maybe once again, this time through a poem describing our genesis and composition, basically. And it's called Wordside in Woodside. You never know when a chance opening of a side door in your life will lead to a new story worth exploring. Like stopping by to open the door of a small library in a small wooded town, tucked under the hills, just shielding it from the crashing waves of clouds rolling in from the Pacific. And to find there, in what seemed an empty room, a treasure of lives lived and living and growing, enriching through the act of telling with intentional craft. Because writing uncovers truth to become art, striving to be ever more honest through and within words, directly and indirectly in the art which emerges. Because life is not direct, but reveals itself in layers of authentic word choice, sentiment, courage, amidst the chaos and order of daily life. Every rewrite, response, new writing comes a little closer to the core, escaping us in bursts of color or in the soft way wind whispers and speaks through us like leaves, if we were trees like these which line and fill this place. Because we are like the redwoods, which grow in groves, recognized by the circle, left to dance around the mother tree, who may be long gone from view, but nevertheless leaves a dominant, sacred space in the center that we find on our walks in these woods beside us. These woods are essential to who we are as human beings. We are not unaffected by the paths we walk among these trees, around this sun, beside each other, beside these writers, these crafters and artists of life, sculpted into written word. We transform ourselves our craft, and one another.
Good evening. My name is Maria DeVito. I have 2 poems to read for you tonight. My first poem is called The Meeting. The sky darkened into night, and the stars appeared one by one, and the big round moon shined down onto cold, dark ocean waters. And the ocean spoke to the moon and asked, "Moon, are you lonely tonight?" And the moon answered, "No, great vast ocean, not if I have you to shine on." The ocean said to the moon, "Gracious moon, and I am not lonely having you near." Gracious moon, the moon and the ocean met each night together forever until the end of time. Poem 2, The Child, the Old Woman, and the Broomstick. On a day dark and cold against a wall, standing on the bottom of a stair, waiting, simply waiting, tender eyes watching, freezing, forever freezing, hoping, faithfully hoping, the child stands in her little faded yellow dress. The old woman comes from up above, sweeping, carefully sweeping every step before reaching the young child, sweeping her into her arms. Thank you.
My name is Jose Osegueda, and I have a personal memoir here to share. The hero's journey to transformation. I'm embarked on a journey to follow the divine plan of my life. I now attain seemingly the unattainable. I feel the presence to help others in giving and buying food and sharing time and compassion for others by showing love for the less fortunate. It's meaningful, allowing God's love to flow to others. The gift of interpreting the divine will and purpose of God's love endures long and is patient and kind, the highest level of love. It is so focused on the needs of others that it goes a second mile to become what a person needs to gain victory. Always reaching out to the needs of others. We must live as the living sacrifices as believers in Jesus Christ, which He helps us push past the pain of our transformation. I am grateful for the person I become. I feel more immense power of the Holy Spirit is so strong, others recognize the light. There's a distinct aura is present. It's very powerful. The advocate of the Holy Spirit speaks and works in our lives as a defense attorney, is an extension of Jesus and offers hope. My spirit is now hopeful and healing and positive in communication with you. Empowering people to make positive change, sharing knowledge in resources for the next generations of 100 years. It isn't about sharing all your great accomplishments. It's about being relatable with your failures. It contains the humanity, the struggle, the shame, bracing against the impossible. These are universal experiences. Next, I have a poem here that I created. It's called Creators of Your Own Reality. In my heart is an expression to pour out your soul and have extreme creative sounds to make your art scream out to the universe. And others that receive are able to adopt and heal our soul and vent out our higher self of satisfaction. We all strive in our lives through others. Thank you.
Everybody needs to see the T-shirt. Okay. Hey, y'all. I was born in Alabama, where my daddy named me C. Brienne. We suspect he was drinking at the time. This here's a story from a compilation of stories that I haven't written down yet, because I never learned to type. I did learn to milk a cow. This story is called The Trunk of My Car. The trunk of my car has become my large purse because it's mobile, portable, transferable, and easy to locate without GPS. It's modular, repackageable, insular, customizable, handy, sizable, and mostly functional, which is pretty good for a car I bought used. My trunk features fish and tackle for two, tide charts for the California coast, bags for seashells, or to clean up after a dog I haven't met yet. For I'm a belt and suspenders kind of person, and you just never know. It holds paints and paper because you never know when a perfect view that needs interpretation might present itself. It holds golf shoes, jumper cables, Benadryl for bee stings, the grocery list, a few changes of clothes of various thicknesses, since I have no idea where my boyfriend, who works for the U.S. Geological Survey, and whose favorite game is, I wonder where that goes, may lead us. It has my passport. My mother almost had a heart attack when I updated it because she knew all too well about his favorite game, and she remembered the time that I volunteered for the U.S. Geological Survey to help on a 4-day mission that turned into 3 months out of cell phone range. But that's another story for another time. My trunk holds cash in various currencies, some credit cards, recognized worldwide, since I have no idea where my boyfriend might lead us or for how long. There are some towels and blankets and some large waterproof tarpaulins, since I have no idea where my boyfriend might lead us or for how long. It holds a large zippered bag of maps of Western Europe, most of the West, and a few of Asia. I'm thinking of adding a map of the moon, which is free at the U.S. Geological Survey. There's bottled water and some military-grade packages of meals ready to eat, 6,000 calories each, designed for soldiers on active duty, just in case we end up in Iraq, since I have no idea where my boyfriend might lead us or for how long. There are phone numbers for AAA, an emergency medical kit, a fall-down detection device, and a list of family members to contact if nobody hears from us for an extended period of time. Like the time my boyfriend took us out to the desert to see the wild horses run and broke the drive shaft of the 10-wheeler he was driving to the well site. Bless his heart. But that's another story for another time.
I'm going to tell you about a problem I had recently and how I solved it. sitting here thinking, wondering how I'm gonna do. I'm sitting here thinking, wondering what I'm gonna do. What can I do to lose these coronavirus blues? It's got me living like a hermit. What a hand 60 times a day. Living like a hermit, wash my hands 60 times a day. Hoping that the hygiene will keep the bug away. When I go out, I'm like a bandit. Got a mask across my nose. Gotta keep my social distance. Don't want to step on anybody's toes. Social distance is a reason I don't go dancing anymore. I can't get next to my baby when she's 6 feet across the floor. So I'm sitting here thinking, wondering what I'm gonna do. What can I do to lose these coronavirus blues?
Hello, everybody. So I just want to say that I'm really honored and grateful for this group. They came along right at the time where I felt like maybe there'd never be any magic in my life outside of my incredible family, and turns out there's a lot. Incredibly gifted people. So my name is Agatha, and as my friends know, I'm obsessed with my children. I have 3. And I'm going to read just a couple short poems, and the first 2 are dedicated to my girl, because she's the one that brought me here to Woodside and this group, and the third one is to all 3 of them. So we had a bit of trouble conceiving my daughter, a little TMI. Here's the poem. It's called Beginning. Jump, he said, and I'll catch you. Hesitant, but worn down by the noise of the invitations, you look down from your cloud. Strong arms and earnest face. Okay, you thought, why not? You gently advised the cherub to stop fanning you as you handed him the grapes. You stood up, slowly shaking off the butterflies and diamonds. See you soon, you smiled with an easy wave. And they all watched you slide down to us with heavy, heavy hearts, while ours, below, grew huge. So that was Poppy. One more to my girl. When I joined the group, we were dealing with something very unpleasant. So this is called When Poppy Was Sick. You raise the dead and part the sea. You can do this small favor for me. Which was a prayer, of course, for healing. And this is to all 3 of them. My wish for you, perfect steps over the abyss, good conversation through the darkness. Injustice stands aside as you elegantly make your way.
Again, I'm Christel Choi, and this following is from a memoir I hope will be published in this next year, and it's set in South Korea in 1989 when the students were leading the transition from a dictatorship to democracy in South Korea. But South Korea, May 1989, Night Police. In the evening, after a long day of classes and tutoring, I'm finally headed home. I'm looking forward to dinner and getting my homework done. But the way to my boarding house is now blocked by checkpoints and barricades, preventing traffic from going near the university, or my fellow students are preparing for tomorrow's protest against the government. The road to my parents' house is clear, however, so I go there. I expect I can safely take the back way home, as I often do, along the mountain trails, avoiding the main campus. I am so late that my housemates have called to see if I'm safe. And when I say I'm planning to head over, one of the monks in our boarding house insists on meeting me to escort me home. I put on my black coat, cover my hair with a cap, and meet him outside the back gate of the foreign school compound. I know the path well enough to walk without a light when I cross the mountain on my way home at night. And I wear a black cap and a coat to be invisible to anyone lingering there in the dark. As a woman alone and as an American, amidst the current protests against American policy, I want to have the element of surprise on my side. The rustling grasses make more noise than my feet do. On the way over, the monk tells me he found the temple side of the mountain full of riot police staked out for the night. I can tell he's reluctant to return, but we do. On the way back, we are stopped 3 times. There should be a bright full moon, but tonight it's covered by clouds. What light there is does not penetrate the trees, leaving the mountain intensely dark. I know the trail better, so I lead. When we reach the break in the wire-topped wall which marks the border of the university grounds, I begin to climb over, hoping the police haven't come up this far. But I can feel a dangerous tension in the air. And then I hear voices raise in alarm and beams of light swivel toward me, and finally, dreadfully, I understand what a terrible idea this was. But it's too late to go back. The flashlights blind me as I top the cement wall, and the riot police shout at me in Korean, "Stop! Who are you?" Then pointing at the ground in front of them, they continue, "Come down." The cut coils of barbed wire on either side of me throw scar-like shadows on my hands and my clothes. But my housemate whispers from behind, "Show your hair." So I remove my black watch cap with one hand and slowly let my blonde hair fall over my shoulders and then down my back, momentarily shocking the police into silence. A woman? A foreigner? It is not lost on me that, blonde foreigner or not, being dressed in black and climbing through cut barbed wire does not make me look like an innocent guest returning home to the boarding house. Fear makes me want to freeze or run, but instead I calm my breath and try to descend the wall without stumbling and to hide the shaking of my hands and knees. My housemate follows me over the wall, and though I'm sure he is as afraid as I am, when he reaches the ground, he faces the police with as much authority as they have barked at us. In Korean, he gives his name and rank in the military, and they take notice. He continues, "You know I am a monk at this temple now." He points across the mountain. "Your officer gave me permission only an hour ago to escort this woman home. She is a foreign guest caught out by the student demonstrations and your blockades." I'm not sure the police quite believe him. His story is true, but he's young for his rank. He's wearing light jeans and a jacket instead of monk's robes. He is also a student, and in an unfortunate coincidence this week, the student dissidents have also shaved their heads bald, like his, in a sign of protest. The police surround us and close in on us, and I try to follow the example of his composure, keep breathing. Not ragged gasps, but calm, not ragged. One officer steps forward, angry and shouting in our faces. He is not the one who gave this monk permission to escort me back. We stand very still, not flinching. And then an even higher-ranking officer enters the circle of flashlights and shuts him up. And slowly, coldly, his gaze travels over us. He takes in the details of our features, our clothes, our composure. The police are all silent, and we do not move. At last, he scoffs and turns away, dismissing us with a wave of his hand. We are free to go, but he offers no escort. At first, I feel an intense relief as we step away, but a break in the clouds, and the moonlight reveals for a moment the black outlines of hundreds of policemen camped out and lining the narrow roadway down the hill to the temple where we live. Then the moon is gone and the mountain is dark again. And the rank smell of sweat and alcohol reaches my nose. The peril of our situation returns to me and my breath bursts out like a short laugh. My housemate looks at me sharply. He is fully aware of the danger we are in, and he does not find it funny. But I carefully tuck my hair back into the cap and trying to give no sign of the fear that makes my knees want to buckle. Trembling inside, I step forward onto the path.
My name is Ricardo Lopez Reglado. This is a piece from a book I'm writing titled Güero with Blue Eyes. This piece is called The Best. Her hair laid on her shoulders, the mahogany locks barely brushing her collarbone. I watch as she stands in front of the old baking table and smooths her hair back with the use of beautiful hair combs. Taking a moment, pensive with intent, she begins to hum. Then words begin to weave in and out of her humming. In a large olla, she places cinnamon bark, anise, and cloves, then gently adds water till she feels it's enough. Then the piloncillo, these finely shaped cones, a beautiful azúcar made from cane juice, are gently lowered into the simmering water. She takes a large spoon, which was handed down from her mother. She loved that old wooden spoon and begins to stir the alchemy with a soulful movement and an ever so slight smile. The smell of the bread that's been toasted and laid in an iron pot begins to dance in the air along with the scented steam. She pours the sacred liquid over the bread and pushes the heavy pot into the wood-burning oven. After a while, which felt like an eternity, the pot is pulled out and placed on a metal grill which is centered on the freshly veiled family table. She grasps her spoon, dives it into the soft-textured, delightful, and carefully lifts out the first bite. She cools it with her tender breath. She offers the first bite to me. I close my eyes and I let my senses overwhelm me. Gracias, Mama, for the delicious capirotada, the best.
Hi, I'm Don Chalky. Christel and Rick lead the Wordside Writers Club, and they often give us challenging exercises at their meetings every week. One time, about a few weeks ago, Rick said, I'm going to write a noun on a board, and I want you all to write something about it. You have 6 minutes. Well, the noun he wrote was moon, and he started the timer, and here's what I wrote. When I look up into the night sky and see the moon, no matter full or crescent or in between, I feel at peace. Especially when I'm camping in the mountains or at the seashore. The moonlight and the illuminated hills, valleys, trees, breaking waves cause me to relax. Forget about my business, my work schedule, and the house jobs I need to get done, the ever-present duties that I must address every day. I think these mellow times make my life more joyful, and in the long run will extend my life. And I will be a better husband, father, colleague, and friend. I remind myself to venture out and look up into the night sky as often as I can.
Thanks so much for coming. I have 3 pieces that I'd like to share with you today. The first one is called Neco, and it's about my 13-year-old therapy service dog. Neco. My Neco, my sweet girl, dark chocolate eyes that watch me, waiting, wondering, hoping for a walk along the bay or for a new dog park friend who wants to play. Patience, trust, love, sometimes adoration, sometimes mad if I try to take her picture, if I take too long to get going, if she doesn't know our plan for the day. Ears listening always for a sign that we are going out, heading to a new adventure or an old favorite place. My companion through good times and bad, through ups and downs, forever loyal, my partner, my friend. Saturday in our library garden. Sunshine on my shoulders, trees straight and tall, some spreading open, leaf-filled arms, embracing us with nature's gifts of beauty. Birds calling, chirping, celebrating life, grasses bending softly in the breeze, flowers of lavender, red and white, precious blessings for the senses. Serenity abounds and graces us with peace. Neco lays quietly on the sun-warmed bricks, taking in the joy of being calm in our lovely library garden. My old bones. Some of my bones don't want to carry me anymore. They've done their jobs long enough, while others fight to hold me up and help me continue my life's journey. Some complain. They ache and cry out. They yell and scream. Some rub against each other, but most are steadfast in their mission of support. Still, it only takes a few to almost bring me down, to sap my strength and stop me on the spot, to keep me from an active day or restful sleep at night. I remind myself I'm lucky it could be worse and try to charge ahead. Don't waste a moment of this life. This chance to live and laugh and love comes only once.
Okay. I have an excerpt from a novel that I have created, and I'd like to share this part of it with you. I crawled out of Shavers, starving, got into the Corvair, drove back to Reno. I went over to Circus and tried to find a parking space that wouldn't cost me anything. I couldn't find one. There was a meter on everything, and I couldn't park in any of the casino lots unless I had a room key. I found one spot, though, where I could park for an hour. It was going to take me 15 minutes to walk to Circus, so I took the chance. When I walked into the casino, I passed a room where everyone was smoking. The cigarette smoke was stifling. Someone even had the audacity to blow a joint. There were still some places where no smoking laws didn't reach yet. As I walked past the slot machine on my way to the business office, I couldn't believe it. There was another machine with 3 quarters in the tray and one on the floor at the base of the machine. Maybe my luck was changing. Another $1. I got another message from my stomach. Fix me now. But I had a little business to take care of. I had $3.42. I thought, with that kind of productivity, who needs to gamble? Again, I was tempted to stick the quarters into the slot machine, but the little Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder gathered my collar, slapped me in the face, and told me, "Don't be stupid." I found the business office. The room behind the door was essentially empty. The only furniture was a desk with a dark-haired secretarial type sitting behind it. I walked in. The dark-haired secretarial type sitting behind the desk greeted me with, "We are only hiring maintenance personnel, but if you fill out this application with as much information regarding your experience, we will evaluate it, and if something comes up that meets your qualifications and our needs, we will call you." Now that I was closer, I could see she was very attractive. I tried to give her a look as pleasant as I could, while in the back of my mind I reconsidered Reno. It might be a nice place to squat for a while. I took the application. I couldn't help noticing the only chair in the room was the one the receptionist was sitting on. She was behind the desk, so I assumed she was sitting on something. How uncomfortable for visitors or guests. The dark wood desk was on a dark wood floor, away from a red rug. The room was in need of staging or a decorator. No pictures or charts on the wall, just a ceiling fan not functioning, surrounded by recessed ceiling floodlights that were dimmed. It was bright enough, though. "Thank you," I said, "but I'm looking for someone." I pulled out my retired badge and ID. She didn't dispute it. "Oh," she said, "you'll have to talk to my manager." Another manager, I thought. "No, you will do," I said. "Her name is Laura Turner. I just want to know if you have seen her." I showed her the picture I had. "Have you seen her?" I pressed. "No," she said. She's lying, I thought. She seemed to recognize the face in the picture. "What's she done?" "Nothing. The police in San Francisco want her for her own protection. What the circumstances and particulars are, I'm not sure. I was assigned to find her. From what I understand, they were bringing her back to California when they lost her in Reno. She's pretty. She may not look like that now. She was rescued from a Detroit mob 2 months ago. She has information that will connect the people in Detroit to a group in San Francisco that will send both groups to prison for a long time. If she gets to testify, a whole bunch of bad guys will go to jail." Geez, I have not seen her. I assumed she was lying. "You look surprised when I showed you her picture." Her attitude suddenly changed. "I don't know her, but I think she was staying with one of the girls on the casino floor. But she's not here. She left to go to work in Vegas. I don't know if anyone knows where Diane is in Vegas." "Diane, is that the name of the girl Laura was staying with?" "Yes." "So you won't know where I can find this Diane?" I said I don't know. "Las Vegas." Her attitude changed back to imitation professional. "Yes, you said, but where in Las Vegas?" "I don't know." Just then the door behind, to the left of the receptionist, opened and 2 women stepped out. My stomach growled. The woman in front turned and the 2 women shook hands. "We'll be in touch," the second woman said. The first woman left. The second woman looked at me and asked if the receptionist, "Is everything all right?" The receptionist did not respond. The second woman looked at me again, stepped back into the room she came out of, and closed the door. "If I'm able to locate this Diane, can I say I know you?" She just looked at me with the warmth of a statue covered with pigeon poop. I smiled and raised my eyebrows. "No," she said, "I don't know you, and you don't know me." "Well, we can do something about that. I'll let you buy me breakfast." My stomach growled again. She just gave me an even colder look, this time with a little more vicious content. "Thanks," I said, and started to leave. "Where can I fill out this application?" "At your mother's house," she responded. "Whoa," I said, and walked back into the casino. Once more, the urge to throw my $3.42 into a slot machine struck. My stomach growled again. I looked for the door. My next destination was a Carl's Jr.'s. I kept walking past the slot machines, past tables, past the restaurants and cafes, and out to the street. Some showgirls were coming in. Geez, they were skinny, but maybe. Unfortunately, none of them knew Diane or Laura. They were all part of a new show, and some had never been in Reno. I wanted to feed them, but put some meat on their bones, but I only had $3.42. Hunger was driving me now. I walked past the car. When I got there, I thought there would be a ticket, but was surprised to find a boot on the left front tire. Whoever put the boot on didn't know a Corvair is a rear-engined car. Rear wheels drive the machine. There were no cars parked in front of me, so with some effort, I was able to turn the wheels enough to inch my way from the curb. It was tough, jockeying the car out of the parking lot, but with a little persistence, I was able to get going with the boot scraping the pavement. I limped into the parking lot of a diner about a quarter mile away, parked at an angle that took up 2 parking slots, and went in to get something to eat. As I walked in, the woman at the cash register looked at me and shook her head. "How long do you think you're going to leave that there?" she asked. "I get asked that a lot," I said, and sat in the booth by the door.
You never know when you take a train ride across the United States what might arise. This piece is called Soft Lit Home. The crops are down. Frost has bitten the last apple. A fireplace warms the home. White is the color of the mountains. Man's windmills slowly spinning. Clouds spewing jagged light. Water still like a timeless mirror. Birds cuddle their unborn. Unmended fences lining the horizon. Dark silhouettes of barren trees. Prints left behind on a trodden path. Rivers merge as they greet and part. Buildings arise and begin to breathe. Ocean lapping the sand. In an endless rhythm, one after another. Green pools of water reflecting the sky. Clear, warm nights chasing the season away. Music and food filling my senses. People expressing joy. Colorful, shiny, bright beads floating through the air, wanting to be caught. Desert trees surviving along the golden plains, with God-made pyramids piercing the horizon. Long metal fences demarcating land, but time is never contained. Welcoming blue oceans, smiling and lively. Soft lit home, a familiar door, a warm bed, the beginning of another dream, and the end of a memory. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.
Thank you very much for a wonderful evening filled with very interesting series of artists of the written word. You know, when you read a word on the page from a book or a poem, you interpret what the writer was trying to express to you with the words that they individually selected. But here this evening, you've been able to hear exactly what the artists were feeling as they chose each word carefully in order to express their ideas, their emotion, their feeling. So it was quite a privilege. So thank you all once again. Now, next month will be a little different. We have a chef coming, Erin Gleason, who will be talking about her journey in creating 7 different cookbooks about vegetarian lifestyle, Feast of the Forest. So I hope you will join us then. And remember what Oscar Wilde said when he said, appearance appeals, but words reveal. So, and we certainly had them revealed tonight. So thank you all again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next month.